Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your Tier 3 race at Qatar. It is going to be a very, very good race. I'm hoping tonight we have got some names you will recognise. We have got a new name in here, and let's go through all the drivers now. We have William in the Mercedes, hoping to help his Constructors' Championship team get ahead and stay ahead of the Alpines and the RBs. Warrener is also in the Kick Sauber, hoping to bring that team off the bottom of the table. DD Friend is currently trying to get himself up into that championship lead, which I think he actually has done if we take a quick look there. But yes, he's trying to help his Alpine, who are in the chase for the Constructors' Championship. DD Friend is actually leading just a bit, I think, during this race. Becky Gaming, who is a new racer with us today in the Ferrari. So let's see how he compares to the rest of the Tier 3 drivers. Cinders, also in that Ferrari, is hoping to get up there. Kesenator in the Kick Sauber there is trying to bring in the points for his team. Shazam in the RB is trying to gain points with his teammate 50 Gent. Cowley in the Williams is helping the Williams team out. Iceman, who will most likely not be qualifying in that Aston Martin, and Jack in the Haas is hoping to get his team up from P5 in the Constructors. So we'll get the track maps and everything on, and let us get going for qualifying. And we'll turn on my apologies, we will turn on the telemetry so we're able to see, as Kesenator has decided the medium tyres is what this Kick Sauber wants to do. And he is going to be trying to use the mediums to go through his qualifying laps. Maybe he's put on plenty of fuel to get through and to get up into the standings. Let us see, let us see. So currently, the standings actually, after round 8, Iceman is leading with 193 points, but has not served his engine penalty yet. We have not got a clear definition of when he's going to serve that. We've got DD Fred in P2. He is 22 points behind, but has served his engine penalty. Then you have 50 Gen and Shazam in P3, P4 consecutively. The two RBs are helping out their team tons. Priv Widget, the other one in the Alpine, is in P5, but he is missing this race today because he is on a 2-race ban. And then we have Cinders in P6, the Ferrari doing pretty well there. Kesenator in P7. Gooders, who hasn't been here in a while, is in P8. William in the Mercedes in P9 as Kesenator, and has now started his lap, so we'll go on board to see how he does. And we'll look back at the standings later on as he's used a lot of ERS to get into this first corner, to get around the lap. A very high speed track around here, and it is a very drink heavy for fuel track, as well as the tyre wear around here is always a menace. Has been since it was introduced to the games. But Kesenator looks like he's just trying to get through the lap as best possible on them medium tyres. and is going to be provisionally on pole position as long as he doesn't invalidate the lap, which is not something you see much from the Kesenator, but it's what's going to happen at the start of this qualifying. But who is going to be next? His teammate Warner is the next one out of lap, so we'll actually go to Warner after Kesenator has finished his lap, and then we have a few other drivers who are out on track right now, just preparing their out laps, as Jack has decided to retire. I believe that is possibly because of an engine penalty, but I am just not too sure on that one. So we'll have to check on board later, as Kesenator flies through that last corner. Hasn't much used his ERS around the rest of the lap, and only in the last corner does he use it, as he has a little bit of a slip there, but he has kept it straight. He's kept it on the narrow, has not invalidated, and gets a 126.2. We'll see how that compares to his teammate, who is coming up right behind him. Is currently on medium ERS, but he'll be blasting it out the last corner. Can he get up to his teammate's pace? He does. He is currently 3 seconds ahead of Kesenator. Then medium tyres are obviously not doing him too well. Who's going to be the next driver out on track? Cowley has invalidated, so it looks like William is the next driver to be able to put a lap time in, as he's just got Ferrari of Bakey ahead of him and just has to avoid him. Is staying on hot lap. Has got a lot of ERS to use out throughout the rest of the lap, more than Kesenator had, and is going to use it wisely, going then into this quick left-hander to try and get as much power on as possible to go into the third sector. And then you've got the quick right-handers where you don't lift off much, if anything, as you try and just speed around these corners and not invalidate, as the cars have managed to just get so much downforce this season that you can just go full throttle around those corners. And then into the final corner, the Mercedes goes. We're up to the line. What is he going to get, as he just extends wide there, but he has kept it on track just barely. And what does he get? 123.1 and 1/10 ahead of Warner right now. And now he has drivers behind him who are looking to improve. Cowley is obviously invalidated, so he will not be the next driver to set a lap. Cinders gets a purple second sector, and looks like he is trying to top the Mercedes right now and Warner to hopefully get on pole position. But is the Ferrari going to do it? He has shown some incredible pace in the past couple of races, but can he do it today? But he extends wide, doesn't invalidate, but he does get up to the line, and it is 123.4, and he definitely lost time at that final corner there, and that is unfortunate to him. And then you have Shazam behind, with Cowley ahead starting another lap. Shazam, that RB, is trying to get up to the line as quick as possible. 123.5, he goes P4. It is pretty close, just a few tenths separating the top four right now. But then you have the rest of the drivers, as Cowley is off again. Then you have the Ferrari of Bakey, who is now trying to set a good lap time. Let's see, does he get a purple second sector like his teammate? He does, so he is showing some pace as well. Could he get up to P3 with his teammate? As long as he doesn't extend the track anywhere, he should be able to get up there. But let's see how he goes into this left-hander. Lifts a little bit to make sure he just gets around the corner cleanly and into the final turn. Carrying as much speed as possible, not invalidating. Gets it nice and narrow, pointy car, and gets up to line. What's it going to be for him? At 23.5, just behind Shazam there, but is only a couple thousandths behind him. And then he has his teammate just ahead of him as well by a tenth. So it is showing some decent pace with this Ferrari is, as we have Warner. Is he on another lap? No, he's into the pits. 50 Gent is going to be the next driver out on a lap, so we will make sure we stay on board with him, as Didi Friend is on an out lap right now. But we'll keep an eye on that Alpine, who has been shown some incredible pace, and is trying to challenge that championship in Tier 3. 50 Gent up to line, unfortunately does not get up to the times he's wanting compared to his teammate and the rest of the drivers, but he is putting in a 124.3 and potentially might be going again pretty soon, as we will look back to the other drivers who are all into the pits now. William is the only one who is out right now. He is low on fuel, but he is improving through that second sector, it said, and he is improving by 4/10. That's a purple second sector. Can he get into the 127s? He is showing some good pace around Qatar right now and has not invalidated his lap. Engine pen for Jack, says Viva, so it is an engine penalty for the Haas car, and he will be starting right at the back as William is coasting through this corner and is going to finish the lap on low fuel, but he's going to get up to the line, and it's a 122.7 for the Mercedes driver, and he has put 5 tenths between him and Warrener, and the rest of the field are clamoring to catch back up. Is Didi Friend on lap? No, he invalidated. Is anybody else on lap? Becky Gaiman, is he on a lap? No, he is starting a lap now though. He's put enough fuel on. But yes, we'll stay on board with the Ferrari to make sure that he gets a good lap tie in. But is anybody else on a lap? It does not look like it. Unless 50 Gent is on a lap. No, he is on none. So it is going to be the Ferrari who's the next driver to try and gain some time on the Mercedes ahead, as well as on his teammate. If he can beat his teammate in his first race, that'll be a decent showing from Bakey Gaming. And let's see how he's able to do. Does he get a purple first sector? He does. He is 2 tenths up on his time, so he is improving. Can he improve throughout the rest of the lap? Going into this quick hairpin, making sure to not slide the car too much and get onto that curb and get the power down as soon as possible, quickly through that quick right-hander and then into the left, just making sure the car curves around as best as possible, then going into the third sector here. Getting into these quick right-handers, he is 2 tenths up still, has not improved in that second sector, and has not got a purple one, but he is still improving. So is he going to finish lap? It is looking likely as he gets through that third corner, maybe lifts a little bit there because he got through that corner nice and solidly there without even touching that right-hand curb. But then he's going to go up into the overtake, across the line. What's it going to be from Bakey Gaming? It's a 123.3. He puts himself ahead of his teammate and is currently up in them podium positions for qualifying right now, as Didi Friend is on a lap. Kezane has invalidated his lap. Didi Friend sets a purple second sector. Is he going to be able to get anywhere in this qualifying? He downshifts, lifts a little bit, but gets a nice riding on that curb, but he's running low on ERS. Especially on the deployment end. He's going to run out just as he gets to the line, and that might ruin his time a little bit at 123.6, and that's definitely not what he was wanting to be seeing compared to the rest of the drivers. Biggie Gaming is out as Warner is going to be starting another lap now. He's the next driver who's going to be starting a lap, so we'll stay on board with the Kick Sauber. Thank you, Jason Awesome Gaming, for the follow. Lovely to see you here. If you want to join any F1 racing and do F1 racing yourself, please join the Discord. The link is in the chat. And we have Tier 3 races on the Wednesday night, Tier 1 on Mondays, Tier 2 on Tuesdays. We have 100% on Fridays, and we have Inter-Tier on Saturdays. And just come along, join Trial with us, and get started. Here we go then. The Kick Sauber of Warrener is trying his best to top William right now. He has got to gain 5 tenths on the Mercedes, but is he going to be able to do it? It's going to be an intense one for the Kick Sauber, and he's going to have to try his utmost hardest to top the Mercedes as best as he can. He's currently using his ERS into this third sector. His teammate is just pulled off ahead of him there, and he is improving by almost 4 tenths. But is he going to improve enough? He is getting through this third sector now. He's got to find a bunt load of time. Just about 2 tenths should do it. But is he going to find it through these couple of corners? He's using a lot of overtaking, a lot of hot lap now. The Kick Sauber is trying his best to get back onto pole position. Rides the curb, has a little bit of a slip, but he gets up to the line using his ERS. And what's it going to be? It is just 400 behind the Mercedes, and it is so close, but he has not managed to top William. But he might go into the pits now, set on new tyres, and hopefully the track improves enough, my apology there, improves enough that he's able to get up and get improvement. As Didi Friend has went again, he's putting enough fuel to be able to go again. Is the Alpine going to be able to improve at all as he goes up into the overtake, gets through the first sector? Is not improving, has validated actually through the first sector, and is most likely going to pit for new tyres as there's 5 minutes left in the session. We'll go on board with Cowley, but he is on none right now, just trying to set a lap time, a 125.5 from him, and he needs to improve more to get up into that top 6 pack. But he is keeping it in for the Williams. Scotty says rapid times, and there is some quick times ahead at the front. The top 2 right now are showing some incredible pace, but are the rest of the drivers going to be able to catch up to them? As we are just now watching the Williams, as he is the only driver out on track who could be starting a lap soon, but we'll have a look aboard as actually Warner is going again. He has decided, yeah, I am going again on the same set of tyres, so he must have put in enough fuel to be able to get going. Is he going to be able to do it? Kesineta says, not me. But Kesner just trying his best to get the Kick-Saubers points in this race. It is going to be a penalty-ridden race, I believe. So we'll just see how the rest of the drivers do. As Williams, the William driver, Cowley, is into the pits. Warner then going through this first sector. Is he going to be improving at all? We're going to see the split. Does he improve? He gets a purple first sector. He's already improving by 2/10. That extra fuel that he added on was giving him a bunch of lap time he didn't need. So now he is starting to get a bunch of lap time back and is gaining 2/10 through the first sector. Is it going to be any more through the second? He looks like he's getting nicely through the corners. Might have been a little bit wide there, but he gets through anyways, up into overtake through the second sector. Is he improving more? He has not improved more. He's only half 10th up right now, so it's that second sector he needs to be improving if he wants to go anywhere. But is he going to improve by enough? He needs to improve by even half a 10th will do right now, but is he going to pit to potentially get new tyres? If he wants to pit, he has to pit now, otherwise he will not get another lesson in. And he has a little bit of a twitch there, that ruined his lap. Up to line he goes. He currently gets provisional pole position, a 1:22.6. It was enough from Warner, but now William is going to have enough tyres to get to the end of qualifying now. Warner is not going to have enough time, as we will see. It is going to be an interesting one to get through. Now the outlaps, Alpine, Kesineta, the rest of the drivers are all starting to come out now, and they've got to start coming out soon if they want to get their laps in. But it is going to be a case of who's going last. As my apologies, my just to say, my mother's just messaging me. I know that's a bit bad to check on, but I am just checking because we are planning how to get me home for Christmas, which I hope you guys are all having a great Christmas, or are going to have a great Christmas. And yeah, just let me know how your Christmas is going to go. But the Alpine is starting to warm up his tyres and get to the end of this race, or he's trying to get to the start of the lap, so we can get to the end of qualifying. But is he going to put in the best lap time now, or is he going to put the lap time in later after this lap? But it looks like he's starting his lap now. Up to a hot lap he goes, and now the Alpine gets it started up into overtake on the start of this lap. Is he going to be able to improve out on his time? He's going to need to improve if he wants to try and challenge for this championship again. He needs to be up there consistently, but these drivers ahead are showing some decent pace today, and it might be a bit more of a struggle to get the win today for the Alpine. But we'll see how his first sector goes in this qualifying, and 1:30 to go. He only has enough time for this lap. If he wanted to bail out now, he has to bail out now. 700 down, 7,000 down. I say sorry. As he is currently trying to put some lap time in to get up ahead to potentially provisional pole position, as Cowley has span, unfortunately, and we're just going on board with that, and he has span it out, and he is into the gravel, going back on board with DD Friend as he goes through the second sector, but he's into none, and he's decided, no, I'm going to go after this lap. So we'll go on board with who's the next driver who's going to be setting a lap. It looks like it's going to be Bakey Gaming. Bakey Gaming is wanting to get that Ferrari up into P2 potentially and potentially P1. Can he do it though? 6, 7 tenths is what this Ferrari has to improve by to be able to get up to them pole positions. Has he got a purple second set? He is not. He's only proven by 6 thousandths of a second, and the Ferrari needs to find a bunch load of time in this last sector if you want to get anywhere close to William and to Warner. But is the Ferrari going to be able to do it? That is the question, but the debutant is showing some incredible pace right now, and up to line he goes using all of his ERS as much as possible. What's it going to be? Improves by 10, so he goes 123.2, 2 tenths are currently ahead of his teammate, as we have 50 Gent starting his lap. DD Friend is coming through the final corner, but he is going to start his lap now, 10 seconds to go, and everybody is starting their lap. Cinders is going to be the next driver. He is improving by 4 tenths, so he's going to possibly be gaining a lot on his teammate, but he's currently on none and is having to finish his lap. I wonder why he was on none there. He has so much ERS to use the line. He probably could have used it a lot better in this. Cinders, though, goes up to line and loses the time because I think he was trying to think that he had enough time to get to the end, and he doesn't. Warner is finished. William is now improving. Does he improve by enough? He had an RB in front of him. He does improve by enough. 122.4 and gets the end as 50 Gent finishes lap. Does not improve his position. Stays P7. Is Big Game doing enough? Is the Alpine of GD Friend doing enough? DD Friend is not improving on the time to look like, and he's already used all of his deploy. That is going to ruin him out the final corner, and unfortunately it looks like DD Friend is not going to get anywhere close. He gets up a P4 though. He has managed to prove to P4 with a 123.3 and has managed to get up there. Is Shazam still on the lap? Shazam is still on a lap, but he is not improving, unfortunately for him, and he might potentially pick. Cowley is the only other driver, as well as Biggie Gaming, to be on lap. Cowley has invalidated. Biggie Gaming is the last driver, and he is not improving on this lap and is into the pits. So William in the Mercedes is your pole position. Your pole sitter for this race. Warner in P2, only 2 tenths behind him, and Bakey Gaming, the debutant, is in P3 in that Ferrari. Very, very good showing from him. D-Friend manages to get up to P4, so that is a good showing from the Alpine, especially after not having much pace at the start of this qualifying. Cinders in P5. The two RBs again are locked with each other, just can't escape each other, although Shazam is 5 tenths ahead of 50 Gent. Kezenator in P8, Cowley in P9, Iceman, who doesn't qualify, in P10, and Jack, who's having the engine penalty, in P11. We are now going to have a 5-minute break until the race. So if everybody just makes sure that they have their 5 minutes, do not ready up straight away, please. And we will make sure that we get into this race, as there you go. There are the fastest times from everyone. Hopefully it is going to be a good one. We'll just quickly check instance. Was anybody hitting anyone? No, they were not. And now we will have our 5 minutes, and I hope to all you can stay watching. Thank you all so much, and we will get into the race right now. And we should be back underway any moment now. The Tier 3 race is about to start at Qatar. I believe there is 27 laps, but don't quote me on that one. I hope you all are going to enjoy alongside me for this race. Let us see how it's going to go. Hopefully, no heroics into Sandoval. Let's all hope for no heroics. Let's hope for a nice, clean race today, as we might see some safety cars out there. You're as quick as you can be. Yep, you're always as quick as you can be, Keznator. That is the name of the game. Take it from me, who is... you know what, I'm not even going to say it because I will have my friends telling me otherwise. But here we go then. 5 red lights for the Qatar Tier 3 Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. Does William get the start? And looks like Warner gets a good start. Has Big Yim got a good start? Warner does get a good start and is right up along the inside. Big Yim does not get the best start. His teammate is on the inside. There's an RB on the inside as well. Sorry, an Alpine DD friend. Warner has got the position going into turn 1. Williams down to P2. Cinders has managed to get past his teammate and DD friend up into P3. But Big Yim has managed to fend off DD friend as in P4. DD friend in P5. 5th Gen is in P6, but he's got his teammate right behind him. Cowley is trying to make some positions now. He's going around the outside of the Visa RB. Is he going to be able to get it done going into this corner? He goes a bit shallow there, and unfortunately does not. He might get the exit. Jack is right on the back of them though. Is Jack going to be able to get the move done? No. And Cowley manages to get up into P7, but has went a bit wide there, and has unfortunately let Shazam back pass. And now Cowley's going to be pressuring him. And it gets past the Williams, going around the outside, and the Williams has dropped back down to P9. We'll go back on board with William up at the front as he will try and get the slipstream as best as possible. We'll not get the time on there. We'll go on the position changes and see who's changing position. Jack is already up 3 positions. Cowley has already got a 3-second warning for track limit. Unfortunately, the Williams does not need that this race. Iceman in the back is trying to have a look on Keznator. Keznator has already dropped behind Cowley. And there's a few 1-second gaps already showing. Warner has put the fast lap the race. Cinders has fallen out with DRS, and William is now trying his best to get past the kick Sauber, sorry. And there is a move back ahead. What is happening? DD Friend is starting to lose positions now as 50 Gent has went up the inside and has got past DD Friend going into turn 1. DD Friend is being dropped down to P6, and he might drop down further. He hopefully has got some good pace. And now after this first lap has went, we'll look at the tyres. DD Friend, actually that might be explain why DD Friend is slow. He is on the hard tyres and he is wanting to use them to go longer in this race potentially, as there is not likelihood of safety cars. The other 2 people on hard tyres are Cinders and Shazam. The rest are on the mediums and going to try and use their pace as best possible. William, what is going on up ahead? He has lost out to Warner, and Warner has pulled out 1.2 second gap already. His race pace is looking a lot better than Williams right now. Willie Fernandez is not doing too well. 5th Gent though is right on the back of Cinders. Their mediums are working well on the RB, and he's going to try his best to get up these positions. DD Friend has got to watch out though, as he has an RB and a Jack Haas character on the back of him. The Alpine runs a bit wide there, and it is 5 cars in this train who are all going to be challenging for these positions. P5 it is, as DD Friend will get the DRS. 5th Gen gets the DRS on Cinders, goes around the outside, gets cleanly past Cinders. Is anybody else going to go for the move on the Ferrari? No. Actually, the Alpine is having a look at the inside, but Cinders defends it off. And there's also a move back there. Is Jack going to get the move done on Shazam? He's up around the outside and actually gets past Shazam. That's a clean move from Jack there. Is he going to be able to get ahead of DD Friend here? No, he's going to currently stick behind him and might go for the move, but he's shown some good pace after taking that engine penalty, and he's going to try his best. He has a look around the outside, but unfortunately the Alpine covers it off. But then the Alpine goes deep and Jack tries the switchback, and he is now around the outside for the next corner. Is the Haas going to get it done? It looks like he carried good speed. The grip on them mediums is doing incredible, and he does. He gets up to P6 as Shamsam already has a 3-second time penalty as well, and that's not what he's wanting early on in this race, especially with the hard tyres going further on. But Jack is showing some incredible pace. He's already on the back of Cinders, Is he going to be able to go through the move here, or is he going to wait till the DRS? I would say the smart move is to wait for the DRS, but look how much speed he has compared to the Ferrari, and he's just right behind him, and he's going to have to just lift off a little bit to just try and make sure he gains his DRS, but he's right on the back of him now, and the Haas car of Jack is going to go for the move here, most likely, is following his slipstream, and the Haas is trying his best as William is trying to gain a lot more time again on the kick-Sauber, and look how much overspeed the Haas has. Look how much overspeed DD Friend has. And now DD Friend is back ahead of Cinders. And Jack is up into P5. Now chasing after 5th Gent, who has dropped 3 seconds behind Bakey Gaming. And Bakey Gaming is starting to already gain time back on the Mercedes. The Haas, though, is showing some incredible pace. And he's going to try and chase after the RB. As we have Shazam back here trying to chase after the Ferrari of Cinders, who was up positions but now is back down already. And the RB is going to try his best. Kesnet is 5 seconds behind. Iceman is still not went for the move on Kesnet. I wonder what's happened there and why he's decided to not make the move. He is currently in a championship fight and he's going to need to get ahead as best he can. But Beaky Gaming has managed to get back in the DRS of William, but we'll not stay on board for that for now. We'll stay on board with this man, Jack in that Haas, as I have no idea who that is, has joined. If that's anybody's friend, can you please let them know to leave, as we need to make sure approve for anybody joining. It should be on invite only, actually, so I'm not sure what's happened there. Jack is now up into P5, has a little bit of a slip because he didn't expect 50 Gent to be that slow at that corner. He's right side by side with him now into the last corner, and oh, he's close there, maybe a tap there with how close they were. Jack was right on the outside of the curb but does get the DRS. 5th Gent does not have the DRS, and now he's going to get passed by DD Friend. He's going to get passed by Cinders. Does his teammate pass him? No, his teammate holds back. 5th Gent tried to hold it around the outside, but DD Friend is having to look up the inside of Jack, turns to the outside, but he's not got the move done. 5th Gent, though, is still on the back of the Ferrari, and that's a beautiful shot. DD Friend runs wide there, unfortunately, and let's look at this beautiful shot right now, going through these cars. The RB having a look up inside of Ferrari, but the Ferrari of Cinders is managing to hold position, and Jack is trying to run away right now as we watch the RB trying his best to go into catch up to the Ferrari. Those two ahead on hard tyres. Maybe the mediums are already starting to give out now and potentially are starting to drop him back. Anyways, we'll go back on board to see what moves are happening. Big Gamer did manage to get ahead of Willie Fernandez, but Willie Fernandez is still on the back of him, and they might have to start considering a DRS swap to gain that 2 seconds back on Warrener, or to get within DRS. Wide goes the Mercedes there, and unfortunately that might have been a warning, but he is still on the back of the Ferrari and is going to be able to use his DRS, use his slipstream to get ahead of him this straight. And we'll stay on board for that move to see if it's a nice clean one. But the Ferrari of Big Gaming is showing some incredible pace right now, and is doing his best to go with these top two. This top three are all leading, but Jack is now up to P4 and might start chasing after. William does not go for the move. There's moves further back though. Cinders is already back past DD Friend, and these two keep swapping positions during this race, and it might be a battle towards the end for them, but they are on the hard tyres, and they are just trying to be careful as 50 Gent is right on the back, but backs out. DD Friend is right on the back of Ferrari, but the Ferrari manages to keep the position, hold it for now, throughout this lap, and they might be able to hold throughout this lap because there's not many chances for overtaking around Qatar, as we are now 6 laps into this race, and it has been a pretty good start, as people are just overtaking each other as best as possible. They're trying to catch up, back up. Jack has managed to get with under 5 seconds, sorry, and is now maybe gaining time on those ahead. These two ahead, Beaky Gaming and Willie Fernandez, might just be too slow compared to Warrener. Warrener is showing some great race pace right now to keep that lead and just eke it out, maybe a 10th per lap compared to these drivers. But the DRS is certainly not helping him in that chase, because Willie Fernandez is going to obviously be able to use that DRS to get ahead of those. But it looks like Willie Fernandez is just not getting the best corner exit out the final corner, and the Ferrari is just managing to stay ahead. He must have a lot less downforce than the Mercedes, because he managed to stay ahead on the straight while in for ERS, and Willie Fernandez just currently can't do anything to get past the Mercedes as Didi Friend gets past Cinders. The Ferrari has a little bit of a compromised exit, but it's still around the outside, trying to hold it around the outside the Alpine, but does not manage to do it. But then here comes 50 Gent around the outside, was the inside, turns to the outside for the Ferrari as he tries to get past, but unfortunately does not manage to make the move stick, and the Ferrari manages to fend off the RB and keep P6. But then the RB breaks late, and there was a little bit of contact there, and unfortunately, fortunately actually for the RB, I don't see any wing damage currently, but that might have just been a little bit too late braking for 5th Gen. He's already dropped down to P8. His teammate ahead now on them hard tyres might be able to start having a go at the Ferrari and Didi Friend, as they have lost out to Jack already, who was 4.6 up from them, and then 4.6 behind Willie Fernandez and Bakey Gaming. So it is going to be an interesting one to see how this race develops. But we'll stay on board with Willie Fernandez. Is he going to be able to get a good exit to get this move done on the Ferrari? The Ferrari looks like he just has better exits coming out that final corner. And unfortunately for Willie Fernandez, it is not enough to gain any time, but he's in on now. The Ferrari of Willie Fernandez sniffs a move. He's got a lot of overspeed, but he just doesn't go for the move right now. He's trying to just conserve as best as possible before going for the move on him. But then we have Cinders has dropped back from Didi Friend. Shazam has now managed to get the DRS as Cinders didn't, and now Shazam is up into P6. But then Didi Friend is starting to pull away a little bit, and if they want to stay with Didi Friend, these two hard tie runners are going to have to try not battle as hard with each other. And Cinders was having a little look around the outside, but decides to then drop back, stay behind him, and they both have to chase again after the Alpine, as the Alpine is already 1 second ahead almost of Shazam, and Shazam is going to have to put in a good lap time here to be able to get back up to the back of that Alpine to get the DRS and the slipstream of him. But he's already now dropped out 1.1 seconds. The Alpine showing some good pace, but then he has gained it back, and this is going to be the battle we're going to stay on board with to see if Shazam on them hard tyres is going to be able to stay with the Alpine, as Iceman has already pitted onto the hard tyres and is trying to get fresh rubber, as it doesn't look like the mediums are doing any good for those out there. Those up ahead are showing some good pace, but those behind the hard runners are now starting to lose out a bit compared to each other. 1 second, 1.1 seconds, and it doesn't look like Shazam is getting the DRS, but Cinders has dropped back, and now Cinders is going to be under pressure from Shazam's teammate 50 Gen, as what has happened up ahead. William has finally went for the move, as you see on the left hand side. He's now up into P2, as we're still on board with 5th Gen going for this move. He is now up the inside of the Ferrari. Is it going to be a nice clean move in turn 1? It looks like it is. He is nice into turn 1 there and has managed to get ahead. But is Cinders going to come back at him? That is the question we are going to be answering here. Cinders has not came back at him yet, but he might have a slower exit. He does not. He manages to just stay ahead of Cinders, and nobody is trying to pit in that top 4. But their medium runners are doing well for themselves compared to the hard runners right now, especially with the known tyre wear that happens around Qatar. Shazam has managed to catch back up to Didi Friend, but that 3 seconds is going to be screwing the RB out of this race and out of these positions, unfortunately for him. That is not what he's going to be wanting to see come the end of this race. He's hoping to hopefully get maybe an undercut, maybe an overcut to get ahead of Didi Friend. Obviously, the undercut is very powerful around here with the tyre wear that it is. But again, needs to get them tyres to the end of the race. He is closer than he was last lap through these last final few corners. But is he going to be within that 1 second that he needs? Gets through that final penultimate corner and then the final corner. And he is within DRS, but is he going to gain enough compared to the Alpine and get to him in time for the first corner, or is he going to use the Alpine to save some ERS? He is gaining on the Alpine, gaining and gaining, but is not gaining enough to get past him. Cinders also does not gain enough on 5th Gen to get past him either. We're going to the position changes now to see who is up. Jack and Warren are the only two people currently up on the... Oh, my apologies there. The only two people up on their positions. The rest of the drivers are either down or level on the positions they qualified in. 2 people have stopped now, Kezenator and Iceman. Iceman is 5 seconds back from Kezenator, and I wonder how he is 5 seconds back when Kezenator has just pitted. unfortunately, it looks like Iceman is not showing the most incredible pace around Qatar, and the championship challenger is not doing too well. Currently P2 in the championship, but is not doing well in Qatar, especially compared to DD Friend. But neither of the championship leaders are showing the best pace. Warrener and is showing the absolute pace right now, as he's already 5 seconds ahead of the Mercedes of Willie Fernandez. But Biggie Gaming is starting to lose out time on the Mercedes right now, and it might be time to consider pit stop for these drivers. 19 laps to go. Will they be able to take them hard to the end if the mediums only go 10 laps? We'll have to see on board to see how well these racers do. Biggie that has damage. Apparently Bakey Gaming has damage as Cinders gets a 3-second time penalty now, and that is not going to be helping the other Ferraris race. Both of them have unfortunately incurred some sort of penalty or damage that is going to be hindrance to their race, especially if Bakey Gaming tries to not get that damage anymore, or sorry, change his front wing to get rid of that damage. And the Ferrari is going to have to try his best if he pits to gain his time, as Shazam unfortunately rides the curb there a bit too much and gets another 3-second penalty, potentially another one there straight after the 3 seconds, and that is not helping his race out. But the Alpine of DD Friend is just doing enough to defend him off right now, going through the first sector into this second sector. Everybody is just settling into this race. Few gaps have all appeared all around the track, but it might be time to start considering pit stops where the undercut will work for someone, it won't work for others. Like Jack could be in a prime position to undercut those ahead right now and gain a few seconds as Kezineta gets a 3-second time penalty. But is he going to want to try and take them tyres to the end of this race, as we are now on to lap 12? Has a little look, it looked like, but doesn't go for it. Bakey Gaming managed to get DRS there. He actually doesn't get DRS, he just has incredible straight line speed compared to the Mercedes. And then we have Shazam here, the RB, now going up the inside of the Alpine and gets the move done into turn 1. Makes sure that he makes it go shallow there, so DD Friend can't get switchback. DD Friend still tries to switch back, but the RB defends it off. Fifth Gen, his teammate, is right on the back of the Ferrari. Goes around the outside actually, and they are very close there. Gets around the outside and gets the move done on their medium tyres that are surely screaming out right now compared to them hards, and gets the move done up to P7 again, as his teammate is ahead. Maybe these two are battling so they can get Shazam out that 3 seconds, so Shazam can secure a P6, as there's a pit further back. Cowley onto the hard tyres, make sure he wants the fresh tyres compared to those around him. Bakey Gaming is still on the back of the Mercedes, runs a bit wide there. Would that have been track limits? How close do we think these are to getting track limits compared to each other now? This is going to be an interesting race towards the end, especially towards the end. But now we have 16 laps to go. Does anybody think of a pit? No. Those ahead don't think of a pit. Does Jack think for a pit? No, he has a little bit of squiggle. Maybe them tyre wear is starting to kick in now, as DD Friend is right on the back of Shazam and is going to probably get the move done, open the DRS and gets right up to the back of the RB, as there he goes up the inside of the RB and gets ahead into turn 1 and is up to P5. These two are just swapping around each lap to make sure that they are just DRS swapping as best as possible. They're still fighting it though, and DD Friend might be able to use the mediums later on. Both these drivers might be able to use the mediums later on to get up to the top 4s. Kezane gets another 3-second time penalty, and unfortunately that is starting to ruin his race a little bit. But yes, everybody is just settling into this race now. A couple of battles here and there, but everybody has just decided to settle in and keep going with this race. But Warrener has managed, look at that, 7.5 seconds on the first 30 laps, especially when them tyres are starting to scream out compared to those behind him. It is a good drive from him right now. His race pace has been incredible, and William and Big Gim are going to have to do something to even catch back up to the Kick Sauber. unless they're thinking of an undercut anywhere. And Jack has managed to actually catch back up. 1.5 seconds it's down to, and the DRS might be starting to help them as into the pits goes William. Is Jack following him? Yes, Jack has decided to follow him in. They're going to get the undercut on Bakey Gaming. Big Gaming and Warner are going to have to react soon to hopefully get anything out of this race. As who is into the pits there? It looks like it is the RB of 50 Gent. Yes, it is, and they are into the pits now, and they have to make sure their hard tyres go. DD Friend is now being passed by Shazam, but they are up to P4 and P3, but they are still yet to pit in this race. Is Biggie Gaming going to change his wing when he goes in the pits? That is something we will have to keep an eye on. It's a little bit wide there for DD Friend. If he gets to 3 seconds, it's game on between him and the RB. And Cinders as well. If they all have 3 seconds, it's game on between all of them. Jack has lost out 1.5 seconds. Might have had a slow pit stop there, or might have changed his wing. But he's now from 1.5 seconds to 2.2, 7/10 down on the Willie Fernandez, and Willie Fernandez is getting his tyres up to temperature as we will go on board with DD Friend, who's still on the back of him, of Shazam. But we'll actually go on board with Warner to see, does anybody pit? We'll see if Warner pits or if Bakey Gaming pits, as they are just pushing the track, pushing track limits, and they are trying to get as far away as possible from those behind. But is it going to be enough? Does Warner go into the pits? He does. Make sure to not get a 10-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Does Bakey Game pit? Yes, he decides now is the time to pit. He wants off their mediums. They actually took the mediums longer than they did the hards, and unfortunately Big Game was just going a bit slow there into the pit lane. He could have went a bit faster, but I think he's just making sure he doesn't want a penalty for those around him. Shazam is now running them hards to the next pit stop, but DD Fred is now on P1. He's the one up there and is going to have to pit one more time though, as he has those with fresh hards around him. Willie Fernandez then, is he going to get it done on Bakey? Bakey is unfortunately just behind by actually a lot, going slow into that pit lane, and the overcut has not helped out the Ferrari whatsoever. He does have the fresher tyres, but 6.5 seconds back is not where he wants to be compared to those who were up ahead. And now Jack is in prime position to fight for the podium. And look how far back. Still, it was 8 seconds originally, but now they are 9 seconds behind Warner. He's not lost any time on his inner lap compared to those behind. And he's just running away with this race around Qatar. I just remembered Biggie Gaming did most likely pit for his wing, and that is why he is a bit far behind now. But can he start showing the pace to be able to get within that 7 seconds of those ahead? As long as he doesn't get time penalties, it should be a-okay. When are these hard runners going to pit as well, as we are now over halfway through this race? The hard start should be maybe given out soon. And there into the pits goes Shazam, just as I was talking about it. He's decided undercut now and get ahead of DD Friend. Is he going to be able to pull out at all compared to the Alpine, who is then behind, who is going to be pit? And Cinders has not responded, but they might respond this lap. Then onto the mediums goes the RB, and he is going to try and take them to the end of the race as best as possible, as Jack now goes for the move on Willie Fernandez and is in provisional P2 compared to the Mercedes, and Bakey Gaming is going to have to try and chase after them as best as possible. Shazam is now out of the pits on the medium tyres, and he is ahead of his teammate by about 4.5 seconds. So he has gained some time on his teammate, still on them hard tyres. The hard tyres can always go so long with good amount of pace between each other. It looks like Morena is running away with this race, but can DD Friend or Cinders do anything on the medium tyres that they should be pitting to very soon? Can Willie Fernandez stay within the DRS of Jack? It doesn't look like it. He's already lost out to a second, and now it is P3 for Willie Fernandez that he is looking at. He starts losing time to Jack. Jack has shown some incredible pace today, and unfortunately the engine penalty has screwed him over a bit, but that's why you want to serve it at a track you're good at. Because if you serve it at a track you're good at, you're able to gain that time back that you would have gotten anyways. So it might be out on a loss on a win, but these two are now into the pits, DD Friend and Cinders. as they are just making sure they pit now. Jack gets the fastest lap of the race, and he is showing some good pace now. Onto the mediums, these go, and how much of an undercut does Shazam get on those ahead? He is trying to catch Brock to Peaky Gaming, who is lost off a little bit, obviously, because of the wing change. How much time does he gain on the Alpine? And it looks like not as much time as I think he was hoping. I think he was hoping to be outside of a second. He is just barely outside of a second. But DD Front on fresher tyres might be able to gain that back pretty soon, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Cinders is also behind 50 Gen, but them hard tyres are going to be able to go to the end and might have similar tyre wear to the mediums towards the end, so they might be showing just the same amount of pace compared to each other, and these are the battles that we're going to have to stay on board with. This is the only battle currently on track. The rest of the drivers are all separated by a bit, but then we will make sure that we will see what happens further on. Willie Fernandez is in P3 right now, but is unfortunately just a bit further back from Jack, who is now trying to take the fight as best he can to Warrener in the last 12 laps. Oh my god, my brain just decided to give out there. Unfortunately, commentator brain, what can I say? But yes, this has been an interesting race to see so far. Unfortunately, I have not seen any Poochie heads or Drax in the chat for their Alpine support, which they normally give. I'm hoping to see them soon, as DD Friend is he's already within that 3 seconds of Shazam, but has dropped back out of DRS. Unfortunately, does not have the DRS. Certified Deck says up the Haas, as Jack is in P2, but here goes Cinders. The Ferrari is now gaining on the RB, and the RB the Ferrari, Cinders, get up into P7. Will he be able to run away on their mediums now? As Deck says, screw the Alpine. So hopefully after that slander, I'm hoping to see Drac and Poochie in here commenting pretty soon, as we normally see them in the chat by now. Anyways, here we go. Looks like everybody's just separating them out a bit. We've got to see if 50 Gent is able to stay within that 1 second of the Ferrari. But it looks like he's just losing out time. The mediums of that Ferrari are just making the Ferrari go so much faster through each corner. And looks like 50 Gent is now dropping without a second, outside of a second. But who isn't dropping outside of a second is DD Friend, who is actually gaining time back on Shazam. He's putting in fastest purple second sector, and might begin. Look how much time he's gained. Unfortunately, Shazam has made a couple of too many mistakes, and now DD Friend, the Alpine, is catching back up and might be able to secure P5 on the road, as well as P5 obviously with time penalties currently, and we'll have to see how penalties are afterwards. But he has to first overtake Shazam in the RB, and Beaky Gaming also is just ahead of them. Them hard tyres need to fire up pretty soon for him. 10 laps to go. It is going to be a push still for the medium runners. The hard runners are going to be able to go towards the end. But is Beaky Gaming going to be under pressure from the RB and the Alpine for P4? If DD Friend can recover to P4, obviously he was there at the start of the race, but he dropped right back. If he can recover to that throughout this race, that is going to be, I say, a win for the Alpines. For what they have. And look how close Shazam is getting up, from 1.8 seconds at the start of this lap down to 1.5, and it is getting close now between these couple of drivers, and it might be the fight for P4 to the end of this race, as all the other drivers have separated out. Unfortunately, Jack, who was showing incredible pace, has just not matched the pace of Warrener. Warrener has just got too much pace on him throughout Qatar and is running away with the victory right now. As we'll make sure we stay on board with this battle. This is the one we are going to want to be watching to the end of this race with 9 laps to go. As you see that gap out in front on the mini-map, because Nate gets another 3-second time penalties. We'll have to see if anybody else gets it. But anyways, DD Friend now gaining with a lap. DRS gets the fastest lap of the race and gets up to P5. Does he gain enough time? He is up to 1.3 seconds now behind the Ferrari. But is it going to be enough throughout this lap? He needs to make sure to put in a good lap time to be able to get up to the back of that Ferrari and get up into the fight for P4. anyways, we are just making sure that we stay on board with this action between P5 and P6 right now. Unfortunately, Cinders has not had the pace compared to his teammate throughout this race. Them mediums have started to already give out. Well, I wouldn't say give out. I would, unfortunately, it just looks like he's not at the pace compared to those who are on the mediums up ahead. But he might be tyre saving for later on this race. Actually, talking about who's dropping out and who's dropping in, DD Friend is starting to get within that 1 second gap of Bakey Gaming, and now Shazam is dropping a little bit outside 1 second of the Alpine with only 8 laps to go. It could be on for P4, and it looks like it is for DD Friend, as Shazam has now dropped back and is not within that DRS that he needs to be battling these two. As long as these two don't battle hard, Shazam might start dropping back, but he's got to put in some good lap times. So Bakey Gaming has to worry about the fast DD Friend behind, who is setting the fastest laps of the race each lap. As he goes on to his next lap, he is right behind the Ferrari now, and the Ferrari has got to be a little bit under pressure from our current championship leader. Oh, sorry, our second place championship leader. As my apologies, I keep forgetting to check into the standings. That is my fault. I do apologise, everyone. But yes, this is going to be a very, very interesting end to this race. The battle for P4 is currently the battle that is on, and it might be the only battle that we have to the end of this race. Shazam is still within that 1.2 seconds and is trying to gain as much time as possible. It looks like he's just not doing enough to gain that time that he needs to get back within DD Friend, but we'll actually look again. Yes, he is just not gaining enough time. It looks like he's just not quick enough throughout the couple of sectors to be able to gain that time on the Alpine, the Ferrari, but he is staying with them. Crucially, he is staying with them. He's not dropping out of 1.5 seconds yet or anything like that. But now the Ferrari has unfortunately got an Alpine gunning for him right behind him, and he goes into none to make sure to save VRS. I think he knows that the move gets done, and there goes DD Friend into turn 1, back onto the racing line, and gets up to P4. Is he going to be able to run away now on their mediums with 7 laps to go in this race? And it could be a strong fight towards the end for these two. There's a yellow flag somewhere. What has happened? And it looks like Warner has had a little spin, and that might give Jack the incentive to just go a bit faster, as he might start catching the time now. Warner maybe has bottled that big lead he has. Is he going to be able to pull it back out? Jack might smell blood in the water now, as them tyres are going to be hot for Warner, and he's got to make sure to cool them down. Is Jack going to be gaining the time to be able to gain on that kick Sauber and maybe challenge for the win with 7 laps to go in this race? Unfortunately, it looks like he's not getting enough time right now, but we'll check back within a lap or two to see how that battle goes on ahead. Big Gaming is managing to hang on to them mediums, so even though DD Friend was setting fastest laps at the race, unfortunately them harder mediums are too similar in pace right now because of the tyre wear most likely, and it is going to be under pressure from DD Friend to be battling Baker Gaming, the debutant, for the P4 in this race. Unless any mistakes happen ahead again, as Warner has already shown that even the top fastest runners can make mistakes in this race. DD Friend defends the inside, and Big Kim does not go for the move. It looks like he's just trying to save ERS to maybe go for a move later on, but he backs out and just stays behind us. Shazam is starting to drop a bit further back now, outside of 1.5 seconds, and will need to try and catch as quick as possible compared to them. He has no threat behind, but he hasn't got, if he makes a mistake, that might be his race over. 50 Gent has also dropped back and is now not within that 3 seconds of Cinders that he needs, which actually we will look at the penalties to make sure there is 3 seconds. Yes, it is. Shazam has 6 seconds. So unfortunately, Shazam's race might just be this. It might be just for P6, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes. Bakey Gaming is right on the back of the Alpine through this second sector, and is trying to stay as close as possible to him, but it's just going to be a battle to the end. Is he going to want to stay behind and just wait for that DRS on the penultimate lap, going on to the final lap? We are not sure. We will see what strategy comes into play from these two. See if any DRS chicken or DRS swapping is going to come into play for the two drivers. But look at this now. Warner is ahead, but he is getting that time back out. But he was 10.5 seconds. It's now only 5.5 seconds. And it is just going to be a challenge for Jack now to get anywhere close. 5 laps to go in this race, and Biggie Gaming to still not go for the move. And is just sticking behind the Alpine for now. Shazam gets another 3 seconds. And that actually might get him close. As long as Cinders doesn't get within that 6 seconds, he is fine. But if Cinders gets within that 3 seconds, it could be on. But as long as Shazam doesn't get any more penalties, I feel like it is going to be a safe race for him to get P6, as Cowley gets 3 seconds now. And it is unfortunately not looking good for the Williams driver, who is on one of the fresher hards compared to those ahead of him. Iceman has also not had a good race, 20 seconds behind those. And that is just so strange. Which will actually go on board with him. What is happening to Shazam? The Aston Martin, who is leading this championship, as Jack gets a 3-second penalty. Is that crucial? Could Willie Fernandez see that and go, I can get within that 3 seconds? Am I going to start challenging? We don't know. We're going to have to see how this race pans out. But we are now 4 laps towards the end. And now Shazam is trying to get within that 1 second. He's getting so close to that 1 second of the Ferrari and the DD friend. He might just want to start getting in that DRS to help out his own chances of getting P6 in this race. Or he might be just there to capitalise on any collisions that may happen towards the end of this race. But yes, Qatar at the start has been a good one, but now everybody has settled in. Everybody has settled in now, and it is just going to be a push for everyone to get to the end of this race, as Bakey Gaming has left. What has happened to Bakey Gaming? Someone needs to get him back in as soon as possible. Otherwise, his unfortunately, his ghost is going to drop behind Shazam, and now he is dropping back from DD Friend. He was in the fight for P4, and now he might be losing out. He's losing out with P4. He don't think he'll lose out with P5, but he needs to get in as soon as possible, as unfortunately Shazam is now going to be getting past him, as long as Biggie Game doesn't lose out any more time to those behind. But he is going to have to get in as soon as possible. Can someone please invite him back as quick as possible? We need the Ferrari back in here. Unfortunately, I don't have him on Xbox, but actually I'll have a look to see if I can add him quickly through here. I doubt I can. Big Game View Gamer Card. I'm sorry that you can see the pause menu right now, but I need to make sure that he gets an invite to my game. I've made sure to invite him back, so hopefully he gets back in and picks it up, because he could still secure P5 in this race as long as he doesn't let Shazam get away. And hopefully he joins back pretty soon, as that might just have been a small connection disconnect, which is unfortunate. It happens a few times in this game, and it just happens to certain drivers at times. I have invited him, but it doesn't look like that he has joined yet, as he's losing time. Look how much time he's losing to those ahead. 3 laps to go. This is not what he wants for the end of his race. His debut race, he was showing some incredible pace, and now as he is back. Is he back? No, it's just the lighting. I thought he was back. There it is. He should be back now. Yes, that is his car. He is back, and now he has to get back underway to secure that P5, as he just goes a bit wide there. That will be frustrating for him, and it does happen, unfortunately. But yes, it will be a very, very frustrating thing for the Ferrari driver. But as long as he can finish this race now, he still will secure P5 with Shazam's 9 seconds of penalties. As now it is going to be a penalty race between him and Bakey, while the rest of the drivers have all separated out by a lot of seconds. I will say a lot of seconds between each other. D-Friend is closing in on Willie Fernandez. I don't think he's going to close enough in these last 2 laps unless Willie Fernandez makes any mistakes, but he needs to be ahead of this Alpine for his Constructors' Championship. D-Friend needs to catch him and pass him for his Constructors' Championship fight. My apologies for the hiccups there. But yes, this is going to be a pretty dominant win for Warner if he keeps it on track. He's just got to be careful going around the rest of the track. Hasn't pulled out that 10 seconds again that he did initially have, but he's just trying to keep his toe in it, as he's currently got one hand on that P1 trophy right now. I hope everyone has enjoyed the stream. It has been a good race for Tier 3 at Qatar, as we are on the penultimate lap now. And it is just going to be a cruise to the end for the rest of these drivers. As long as they all finish and there is no accidents, no spins, then it is going to be a pretty end for each of these drivers. Some may be disappointed, some may have been happy with where they are and where they started or where they finished. But it has been an entertaining race nonetheless from Tier 3 today. Which I can't actually remember if I watched Qatar. I think I watched Qatar. It wasn't as interesting, if I remember correctly. But unfortunately, that is the name of the game for obviously our races here in UFRL. Now, rounding the final sector goes Warner. This is going to be the second last lap, going into the final lap of this pretty dominant race that he has had. Did have a little bit of a scary spin earlier on a few laps ago, dropped him down to 4 seconds, but he has already eked the time back out and has managed to keep his win in firm grasp. Jack has shown incredible pace to start from the back to come to P2. That is a championship drive from him, and could potentially be challenging for the championship next season with the pace that he has shown. As we have Willie Fernandez, who was our pole sitter, as Kesnet gets another 3 seconds. Our pole sitters, unfortunately, just settling in for a podium today, and that is going to be a disappointing result, especially for the pace that he was showing in this race. As we will look, yes, look at him. He will have been wanting to do a bit better as Cowley gets another 3 seconds. Same with Kesnet, as D-Friend is actually catching on the last lap. 1.5 seconds. And could he still be sniffing at the podium? I think it's a very low chance, unless Willie Fernandez somehow mucks up his final lap. Then I don't think D-Friend is going to get within that 1.5 seconds, especially since the hard tyres should be faster than the mediums. But saying that though, he is gaining time, but I don't think he's going to gain enough time through the final sector. But we'll stay on board with Warner, who has lapped Cowley. As we go on to the final straight of this race, and I don't see any battles behind Big Gaming. He managed to catch back up to Shazam, but not enough on the final lap, and Warner in that kick Sauber comes across the line, and it's your Qatar Tier 3 race winner. Jack, for the Haas team, comes home in P2 after an incredible drive from him, and manages to secure Haas a podium. Willie Fernandez just almost caught by D-Friend, but if it was one more lap, it might have been on for D-Friend, but Willie Fernandez comes home in P3. Unfortunately for him, he was on pole, so that'll be a disappointing result for him, but still a good one nonetheless. D-Friend and P4. Baker Gaming, his debut race, P5, was challenging for P4 until that disconnect. Unfortunate for him, but it's a good result nonetheless. Shazam is in P6. Cinder's other Ferrari in P7. 50 Gent comes home in P8. Iceman, our championship leader, is going to get a disappointing result today and comes home in P9. Kesenator coming home in P10, and Cowley comes home in a lowly P11. But let's stay on board with our race winner, the kick Sauber of Warner. What a dominant race it was from him. Just an incredible drive, and that was an incredible just an incredible race from the number 81. Thank you all for so much for joining the stream today, and I hope you all have enjoyed, as long as I've got to make sure that people just don't leave before the standings come on. As there you go, Warrener has confirmed the win pending any penalties, but I don't believe he has any penalties, as we will have to see. Jack says it's drive of the day. I would also agree with that. Jack's drive was just incredible, I will have to say. And onto the podium now they go. And here at the podium, celebrations. And it is the British driver who wins this race. The Haas, up the Haas's deck, as they managed to secure another podium for that team, who's just seemed to gain points by the day, but it looks like the Mercedes have just managed to pull out some points on their team rivals, the Alpines and the RBs, but I'm not sure what the calculations are. They might have not gained as many points as the RBs in this race. There you go, fastest lap goes to Didi Friend, who was incredible on the mediums, and that is the end of the race. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this Qatar Tier 3 race, and I will see you all next week. Yes, it should be next week. For... Actually, what is it? What is it next week for Tier 3? Let's have a little cheeky look as we go to the race calendar. Tier 3. It is Austria, so it should be a good one next week. A short one, a quick one, and it'll be close DRS trains. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all next time.